Hey lovely sexy hobby people, welcome to today's video, which is going to be a review for issue 76 of Dungeons & Dragons Adventurer. We get some sparkly gold, or some goldish sparkly dice in this, so come and join me on the desk and we will have a look through. Right then lovelies, let's have a look at Dungeons & Dragons issue 76. We get some sparkly dice with this one. Oh my god, what are those? Okay, excellent. I've not seen those before. Let's put the dice there. Bring a chair in. Okay, so what colour are our dice today? Multicoloured, glittery dice. That's it, that's all it says. Right, in our sage advice, B. DM 56A. Settlements Part 1. Villages and cities can vary wildly in terms of their landmarks, famous residents, ferocious monsters and much more. Roll on our random settlement tables to help determine the nature of your local quest hub. Towns, cities and villages are common starting points for adventurers. Since people with problems, they need mercenary or adventurers to solve tend to congregate in local taverns. But you don't have to leave town and trek through wilderness to delve through dungeons in order to have an adventure. Civilization is the perfect setting for turf wars between gangs or guilds, political intrigue among nobles or even rampaging monsters. So there you have it. And here we go. Right, so we got a number of D20 rolling charts here. So you've got ruler's status, so 1 to 5, respected, fair and just. 6 to 8, feared tyrant. 9, weakling, manipulated by others, and so on. Notable traits: canals in place of streets, think Venice. Massive statue or monument, grand temple, large fortress, verdant parks and orchards, site of many battles, site of a mythic or magical event, notable library or academy. Oh, think of the Library of Alexandria. Known for its delicious cuisine, rude people, greedy merchants, artists and writers, wines, high fashion, political intrigue, powerful guilds, or patriotism. Current calamity, so what the problem is: suspected vampire infestation, new cult seeks converts, important figure died, murder suspected, war between rival thieves guilds, powerful wizard has moved into town, economic depression, internal strife leads to anarchy, besieged by enemies, or scandal that threatens powerful families. And then species relations, you have 1 to 10 harmony, 11 to 14 tension or rivalry, 15 to 16 species majority are conquerors, 17 species minority are rulers, 18 species minority are refugees, 19 species majority oppresses minority, and 20 species minority oppresses majority. Wow, there's quite a bit going on there. So in Settlements Part 2, you don't need an engineering degree to construct spectacular buildings. In D&D, all you need is our random building tables. So you have building type, residence, religious building. Again, D20 rolling charts. So 1 to 10 on building type is residence. And then if you get that, then you roll on the residence chart. And it'll tell you whether it's an abandoned squat or middle class home, front for a secret cult, etc. If you get religious, then you roll on the religious building. So it could be a temple to a god or neutral deity, temple to a false deity, home of aesthetics, home of ascetics. Abandoned shrine, library dedicated to religious study, or hidden shrine to fiend or an evil deity. 13 to 15, tavern. Roll once on the tavern table and twice on the tavern name generator. So we have a tavern, low-key bar, raucous dive, thieves guild hangout, gathering place for secret society, upper class dining club, gambling den, caters to specific species or guild, members only club, or a brothel. Tavern name generator. So you've got 2 lines in this D20, so you're going to roll twice. And literally you have, for example, you have the silver and then it says ill, but you also have dolphin, dwarf, pegasus, spirit, blah, 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 leaping. So yeah, first part, the silver, the golden, the staggering, the laughing, the prancing, the gilded, the running, the howling, the slaughtered, the leering, the drunken, the leaping, the roaring, the frowning, the lonely, the wandering, the mysterious, the barking, the black, the gleaming. And then the second part you have ill, dolphin, dwarf, pegasus, pony, rose, stag, wolf, lamb, demon, goat, spirit, horde, jester, mountain, eagle, satyr, dog, spider, and star. Cool. And if you get warehouse, which is 16, 17, roll once on the warehouse table over leaf. So you have empty or abandoned, heavily guarded, expensive goods, cheap goods, bulk goods, live animals, weapons or armour, goods from a distant land, or secret smuggler's den. And shop, roll once on the shop table. So you have a pawn shop, herbs or incense, fruits and vegetables, dried meats, pottery, undertaker, books, moneylender, weapons, armour, chandler, smithy, carpenter, weaver, jeweller, baker, map maker, tailor, rope maker, mason or scribe. Halls of justice. You may choose to introduce buildings associated with the criminal justice system into your urban narrative. Right, then we have Sage Advice C, Spellcasting, 15A. Wand of Wonder. That sounds rude. Wand of Wonder is rare, requires attunement. This wand has 7 charges. While holding it, you can use an action to expend one of its charges and choose a target within 120 feet of you. The target can be a creature, an object, or a point in space. Roll a D100 and consult the table in part 2 to discover what happens. Uncaged animals. So we've got elephant, rat, rhinoceros. And then here's part 2 for Wand of Wonder. And your D100, you cast slow, you cast fairy fire. You are stunned until the start of your next turn, believing something awesome just happened. We had a bard, a female dwarf bard in my last game, and she was awesome. And I do expect that to be something she would do. Cast a gust of wind. You cast lightning bolt. I'm not reading all of these out. You cast invisibility on yourself. You cast fireball. A stream of 1d4 times 10 gems, each worth 1 gold piece, shoots from the wand's tip in a line 30 feet long and 5 feet wide. Each gem deals 1 bludgeoning damage, and the total damage of the gems is divided equally among all creatures in the line. That's an awesome effect. If you targeted a creature, you must make a DC 15 Constitution saving throw. If you didn't target a creature, you become the target and must make the saving throw. Sorry, if you targeted a creature, it must make a DC 15 Constitution saving throw. If you didn't target a creature, you become the target and must to make the saving throw. Read that out wrong. If the saving throw fails by 5 or more, the target is instantly petrified and begins to turn to stone. While restrained in this way, the target must repeat the saving throw at the end of its next turn, becoming petrified on a failure or ending the effect on a success. The petrification lasts until the target is freed by the Greater Restoration spell or similar magic. Cool. Right, Chult. Lore. A. Locations 24. The vast jungles of Chult are home to dinosaurs, the gilded oceanside metropolis of Port Nyanzaru, churlish trickster gods and long-ruined ancient cities, and the Cholton people, the only folk stalwart enough to survive so dangerous a land. Right, so Port Nyanzaru. Most new arrivals dock at the Bay of Cholt in the harbour of Port Nyanzaru. A frenzied, sweltering metropolis, Nyanzaru is home to 2/3 of Cholt's population, whose number swells with visitors attracted by its eye-opening sights, business opportunities and grand bazaars. Ruled by a powerful syndicate of Cholton traders called Merchant Princes, Nyanzaru is the place to pick up everything from precious gemstones to rare species and unrefined metal ore. Perhaps inevitably, much of these goods are plundered from Cholt's interior. Once you've had your fill of commerce, there's plenty to keep you entertained. Aside from gladiator contests and circuses, the city place hosts to weekly dinosaur races in the streets. Awesome! That'd be so cool to game out. That would be really cool. While many inhabitants, perhaps wisely, never stray beyond its walls, as a full-time adventurer, may be aching to trek into Cholt's mysterious interior, just make sure you hire a guide and stock up on provisions in Nyanzaru first. Wow, that sounds like a really cool place to visit. Inhabitants. Though many species have settled here, humans are the land's original people. The Cholton people once lived in cities throughout Cholt before monsters and evil magic brought their civilization to ruin. Land of monsters. Dinosaurs, including the dreaded Tyrannosaurus rex, roam throughout the jungles and skies of Cholt to slake their ferocious appetites. At the other end of the scale, tiny parasites and insects carry lethal diseases such as shivering sickness and the blue mist fever. Less common but no less deadly are were tigers, which are known to stalk explorers in certain areas of jungle. Cool. Oh, turtle trouble. Even the Bay of Cholt isn't free from a threat. Chief amongst these are Airmag, the blind dragon turtle that watches over the mouth of the bay. To appease Airmag, ships must throw treasure into the bay, which Airmag stashes in its secret lair. Okay then. Sigil, the city of doors. A fusion of cultures and species exists at the crossroads of the multiverse. Lore A, locations 25. Right. Connected to every plane of existence and the infinite worlds among them, the city of Sigil stands at the centre of the Great Wheel, floating above the apex of an impossibly tall needle-like mountain known as the Spire, which rises in the middle of the Outlands. Sigil is constructed on the inside of a massive stone torus, a fancy way of saying a donut shape. While you can see the city in the Outlands, it simultaneously exists at that point and nowhere. Attempts to ascend to it are futile, as are efforts to reach the top of the spire. The only way into or out of Sigil is through one of its countless portals, which is why it is also known as the City of Doors. Each of these pathways is controlled by the enigmatic Lady of Pain. Such is her power that gods and godlike figures, including archfiends and archfae, can't enter Sigil by any means. It's this control that has given the city one of its many nicknames, the Cage, a multiversal hub. Those visiting Sigil can initially mistake it as another city. However, its 24-hour day and night cycle is simulated with the brightest and darkest points known as peak and anti-peak. Its weather, such as it is, drifts between fog, smog, drizzle, rarely nearing extremes. Creatures from every corner of the plains live and toil in the city of doors, bringing fragments of their cultures to the multiversal hub. Lady of Pain. Sigil's greatest entity is the Lady of Pain, an eternal being who watches over the cage and maintains its neutrality. No one is certain who or what exactly she is, but it's widely accepted she's a being on par with deities. However, she forbids followers of her own, and worshipping her is an unforgivable crime. Fair enough. Law C, Factions 18. Dragon Gods. Meet the creators of the multiverse, one living in the 7 heavens and the other in the 9 hells. Speak to any bard of the College of Creation and they will tell you that the cosmos is a work of art, the creation of the first dragons and gods. That creative work included harmonies that continue to resound through existence today, a power known as the Song of Creation. Discuss the Song of Creation with a Dragonborn and you learn that they believe 2 of its first singers were Bahamut and Tiamat. So yeah, those are, I understand. I haven't come across them in a game yet, but I understand that they are quite big, as it were, in lore in Dungeons and Dragons. So Bahamut, known as the Platinum Dragon, Bahamut is the patron of the progenitor of metallic dragons. He is an ageless and immortal deity who has dwelled in the 7 heavens of Mount Celestia since the destruction of the first world. Few things in the mortal world can cause him lasting harm. Bahamut, or Bahamut, is revered as a god of justice and nobility and is favoured by paladins. However, to metallic dragons, Bahamut is more like a king than a god. Individual dragons might owe Bahamut allegiance, respect him, pay tribute to him, and strive to emulate him, but they don't worship him. Tiamat, the terrifying 5-headed dragon god Tiamat, is the progenitor of chromatic dragons. So the way it was explained to me was that metallic dragons are actually quite reasonable and they will talk to you, you know, and they are quite happy to share knowledge as long as you don't like go off on them. But chromatic dragons are essentially the wasps of the dragon world. They're just arseholes. And if anybody knows what wasps are like in the UK, they're just fucking twats. They'll just sting you as look at you. Will a wasp. So yeah, we call them jaspers. So that's kind of like how it was explained to me, the difference between metallic and chromatic dragons. Chromatic being, you know, either black or blue or red or yellow or green, you know, and obviously metallic would be gold, copper, brass, silver, that sort of thing. Tiamat resides in Avernus in the 9 Hells. See Law A, Locations 21. Some claim she is there by choice, served by devils, while others believe she is imprisoned there for her evil acts. On many worlds, she is known as the god of greed, wealth, and vengeance. Her grand, multi-headed silhouette has therefore become an iconic symbol of avarice and destruction. Cool. And then we're into our encounter. Gateway to Plaguestone. Encounter background. The final battle against Kracia has begun. He mustered his last and greatest host of the undead and attacked the city of Neverwinter. In his grasp is a deadly artifact of disease called the Plaguestone, which has sickened the people of Neverwinter and raises the plague-stricken corpses to add to his unliving horde. Now that the characters have cleared the death cloud shrouding Kracia's fortress, they can begin a last-ditch assault to defeat Kracia and destroy the plague itself, the Plaguestone itself. The characters have fought their way through the undead hordes to Deadhold, the location of the Plague Stone, only to find the area is encased in a cocoon of pale flesh. Ugh. Pulsing with demonic power, fortunately help is on the way, as dwarf and orc allies will soon arrive to aid them in their mission. Encounter goals. To complete this encounter, the characters must defeat a group of rampaging plague demons, then work with their allies to find a way inside the demonic flesh cocoon surrounding Deadholt's Cloak Tower. There you go. Right, war map set up. So we're still using the war map that we got a few issues back. Have I still got it here? Here it is. This is one. So we're still using this war map. And obviously you are using the tokens that we've got in previous issues. It's just talking about named NPCs who have died previously and what you can do. So you can either replace them with an unnamed ally with the same stat block and from Forces of Neverwinter. Explain that they were resurrected off screen by an allied cleric. Remove them from the encounter, possibly making the upcoming battles more difficult for the characters. Take your pick. So Attack of Plague Demons. Welcome Reunion. As soon as the characters have defeated the demons, they hear war drums coming from the west and from the south. A character with proficiency in any musical instrument or who makes a successful DC 13 Wisdom Perception check can identify two distinct styles of drumming. The drums to the west are being played in a regimental military style, while to the south the drumming is faster and wilder. Both sets of drums draw closer. Soon afterwards, around 50 dwarven soldiers from Gauntlgrim and a similarly sized band of Thunderspear orc warriors arrive at the party's location. So you then go on to opening the cocoon. You figure out your plan. Attack the cocoon. Acidic Backlash. Each time a character damages the cocoon's flesh with a spell or attack, all creatures within 5 feet of the cocoon are sprayed with acidic pus and take 2 1d4 acid damage. Improvising a solution, entrance secured, ending the encounter, and then stat blocks. We have Bulazal, medium fiend demon, typically chaotic evil. That's that guy. And it was these guys on the back. Varguil? Tiny fiend, typically chaotic evil. Armor class 12, hit points 18, speed 5 feet, fly 40 feet. So they have strength of 6 minus 2, dex 14 plus 2, con 14 plus 2, intelligence 4 minus 3, wisdom 7 minus 2, and charisma 2 minus 4. Spell description. So they have a bite action. They've got damage resistance to cold, fire and lightning, damage immunities, poison, condition immunities, poisoned. They have 60-foot dark vision, passive perception 8, and languages they understand: abyssal, infernal, and any languages it knew before becoming a Varguil, but can't speak. Look at these are so cool. It's just a head with bat wings. And they have Abyssal Curse and Stunning Shriek. The Vargil shrieks. Each humanoid and beast within 30 feet of a Vargil and able to hear it must succeed on a DC 12 Wisdom saving throw or be frightened. of the Vargriel until the end of the Vargriel's next turn. Right, there you go. Awesome. Let's have a look at these dice, shall we? We have, so glittery dice, you can see they're just translucent with glitter inside. The D12's off on a mission. A couple of low rolls on the D20. A 5 and a 10, and I can't remember what the first one. That's a 4. That's a 12. That's a 15. Oh, that was a 11. 15 again. 7. 7. 9. 15. Probably not going to use this in game. That was a 20. Still not going to use it in game. 16. Yeah. I mean, they're nice enough. They're not a set I would have bought if I'd have seen them on a shelf, to be quite honest. But they're nice enough. Right, that was Dungeons and Dragons issue 76. Hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to see you in the next video. All right, take care. Bye bye.